tonight in the dark.
For now, the focus is on restoring the power, repairing the damage, and getting the power back on in that community.
How much longer until Manitoba Hydro says it can restore power to a remote northern community? Also tonight,
lower oil prices, lower demand, rising supply has put a lot of downward pressure on prices.
As gas prices hover close to $1 a liter, could they drop further? And how long might the savings last? Plus, in a pickle over pickleball.
We want to be able to maintain that atmosphere, that quiet, that oasis.
Why some say a new housing development and its pickleball courts could put a riverside park at risk.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor Brock. Marilee is away. One person is dead and 3 others are recovering after a fire destroyed a home in Winnipeg's Lord Roberts neighborhood yesterday. The city says crews were met with heavy flames and smoke when they arrived at the home in the 700 block of Nassau Street around 1 p.m. Monday. 3 people got out on their own, but police say a man in his 40s was later found dead inside. The other 3 people were brought to hospital and have since been released. It took crews more than 3 hours to declare the fire under control. The Winnipeg Police Service says its major crimes unit is now investigating. Turning now to that major power outage that prompted a state of emergency in one northern community. Manitoba Hydro now expects power will be restored for Pimachikamak Cree Nation by 6 p.m. Thursday.
Our crews are making every effort to restore power as safely and quickly as possible. Really difficult location and terrain, though. We're talking about a 1,000-foot stretch of cable running between 2 islands in the Nelson River. So just reaching it safely using helicopters, very weather dependent. It's going to take time, unfortunately.
The community has been in the dark since Sunday night after a 1,000-foot power line over top the Nelson River failed. Hydro workers with specialized equipment began arriving Monday night. The Crown utility says they managed to clear a road to the affected area today. It says the restoration time depends on having weather safe enough for helicopters. Pimachikamak declared a state of emergency in the hours after the outage happened and has set up warming and support centers for residents, while others have been evacuated to Thompson. This according to online statements from Chief David Monias, who also warned about the dire situation facing his community. Monias says water tanks are beginning to freeze and people will soon lose access to potable water. He says many people are still inside their homes and are using candles and generators for heat and light, increasing the risk of fire. He added the community ran out of fuel for generators, but more is being trucked in. Some 600 more generators are expected to arrive today. CTV News has reached out to Chief Monias for more information. We are still waiting to hear back. And speaking of Manitoba Hydro, the Public Utilities Board has approved a rate increase beyond what the Crown Corporation was asking for. The PUB has ordered a 4% interim general rate increase effective January 1st. That's 2 days from now. Hydro was asking for a 3.5% bump, but the PUB says ongoing drought conditions have punched a $625 million hole in the utility's finances, and the larger increase is necessary to protect its financial stability. The PUB is expecting to make a final rate decision for the remainder of the 2026-28 fiscal term sometime in the new year. Members of a St. Vital Park Foundation are raising the alarm tonight over a potential zoning amendment proposal that could see a brand new 4-story building built with pickleball courts next to the quiet Henniff Park. Residents nearby say noise and privacy concerns haven't been considered. CTV's Joseph Bernacki joins us now live. Joseph, what are you hearing from people who use the park?
Taylor, residents I spoke with would like to see Henniff Park stay a quiet place for people to walk their dogs and enjoy what's left of nature in the area. This is an ongoing story that began before 2018 when property developers began building the now Parkview Terrace next door. One board member I spoke with wants the pickleball courts to be sidelined elsewhere. As she looks out from her backyard, Terry Ashcroft is worried about noise close to her Norman Park doorstep.
Can you imagine trying to sit in your backyard, in your house, or to sit on a bench? There's a bench just over here, and be in the park and to hear the constant tick, to tick, to tick. of the pickleball courts.
Ashcroft lives on Portside Drive, and her backyard overlooks Hentelef Park. Once part of the Hentelef family farm, this 30-acre park stretches from St. Mary's Road to the Red River. She says the park has become an oasis of tranquility, set against the backdrop of more and more residential developments.
This is a place where people go for walks, for peace, for quiet.
Now a proposed zoning amendment to an existing development from Progressive Real Estate Group could stand in the way of that quiet space. Ashcroft says the property developers are asking for amendments which would change their original plans for townhouses into a 4-story apartment build with pickleball courts. She says the courts should be shelved in favor of nature.
It would be devastating if you can see how close we are to homes. We have lots of wildlife here, and it would completely change the nature of the park.
John Barodi has been coming to Hentelef Park for years. While he wants this space to be used by more people, he says there are privacy concerns if more infill continues to surround the park.
We want to be able to maintain that atmosphere, that quiet, that oasis, that feeling that you can get away and meditate in the area. And when you have a lot of big buildings around, that's really difficult.
City Councillor Marcus Chambers says the proposed zoning amendments will be considered by the Riel Community Committee on January 7th. Chambers says the original decision from City Council to support the development was green-lit because residents were in favor of the plan for townhouses. Now he's not sure why the change in proposal has been made to expand with the courts as an added structure. While he's not sharing his voting intention yet, he says he understands residents' wishes for the area.
I want to make sure that stays in place, that this remains a passive park, and that there is quiet enjoyment for the surrounding residents.
Ashcroft says other cities across Canada, including Halifax, Calgary, and Ottawa, have closed pickleball facilities based on their close proximity to residential areas. It's unclear whether or not these courts will be built at this time.
So, Joseph, have we gotten a response from the property developers?
Taylor, we reached out to Progressive Real Estate Group today, and we did hear back from their president. Jeff Milnes confirmed they have heard concerns from area residents about the pickleball courts and that the idea was meant to be a placeholder over the previous children's playground that was originally intended for that location. The developer says the courts would be an amenity at large for people to share and plan to explain further at the public hearing.
Thanks, Joseph. And CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us now with your first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. So what are you seeing, Colleen?
Well, it's been an interesting day. The atmospheric setup over the prairies has some areas exceptionally mild for this time of year. Melita is sitting right now at 1 degree. Conversely, other parts of the province very cold tonight. So much so that Environment Canada has put much of northern Manitoba under a cold warning. You see here the Pimicikamak First Nation area, also known as Cross Lake, not under the warning. Having said that, a very cold night ahead with overnight lows expected to drop there to around minus 30 degrees. That's the air temperature. When you factor in the wind chill, it will feel that much colder, even colder in much of the north, even further north than Cross Lake. I'll have more details on that, where a winter storm watch is in effect tonight, and of course we'll look at your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day forecast for our region coming up. Let's take a look right now first through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Beth Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years in Winnipeg right now, with a little bit of light snow having passed through in the past hour. It's partly cloudy now, minus 9, feels like minus 19 with the wind chill. Winds out of the north-northwest at 32 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising, and the humidity right now, Taylor, is 87%.
Thanks, Colleen. A Selkirk man is facing several charges in Ontario following a police investigation into the alleged movement of drugs from Winnipeg to Kenora. Ontario Provincial Police say the investigation led them to attempt to stop a vehicle on Highway 17 near Kenora earlier this month. The driver refused to pull over, but police say they were able to find them at a home in Keewatin. A search of the home allegedly turned up several hundred grams of suspected cocaine, crack cocaine, psilocybin, and packaging materials. A 50-year-old man is facing charges including possession for the purpose of trafficking and flight from police. 2 more drivers were slapped with an immediate roadside suspension as the Winnipeg Police Service continues its holiday check stop program. Police say between December 21st and 28th, 272 drivers were stopped. That's a little more than 900 fewer than the previous week. 10 drivers were found to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol, down from 36 the previous week. And 8 drivers registered a WARN reading on a roadside test. The check stop program will continue into New Year's Eve. Many Manitobans are seeing lower gas prices at the pump, around the $1.10 per liter mark. And according to one analyst, the prices are expected to remain relatively low for weeks to come.
Yeah, a lot of factors going on really to bring lower gas prices coast to coast across Canada. First and foremost, the federal carbon tax pause is keeping prices about 18 cents a litre lower than where they were last year. So that's a big part of how low prices have gotten. Why we've trended lower the last 6 weeks really has to do with the oil prices, as OPEC has progressively increased oil production this year. Oil prices have been under a lot of pressure. In fact, in the last week, oil prices touched their lowest level since 2021.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says that with people on vacation and holiday school closures, a drop in demand is also lowering the prices. He says that prices at some Manitoba gas stations are as low as $1.04 a litre, but adds most remain above $1.
We tend to see gas prices remain relatively low through about Valentine's Day. That's when we start to see the seasonal factors reverse. Demand for gasoline will start to go up as spring break eventually hits. As temperatures warm up, Canadians will get out more. We also start the transition to cleaner, more expensive blends of gasoline in early March. So by usually mid-February, we've seen prices bottom out.
He also says that changes to the Russia-Ukraine conflict or a regime change in Venezuela could impact prices at the pump. The city is looking to make it easier for people who are hard of hearing to access city services. It's put out a request for proposals for hearing loop systems at a number of public facilities. A hearing loop system is a type of technology that captures audio, in this case from a microphone used by a public-facing worker, and transmit it directly into a person's hearing aid or cochlear implant. The RFP says the city wants to begin installing them at places such as the Millennium Library, police headquarters, and some rec centers. It also describes the work as a pilot project and leaves the door open to expand the system to other locations. A city spokesperson says they expect it to have it in place by mid-2026. Still to come tonight, a Canadian couple found dead in the Dominican Republic.
We're like in a big shock, everybody here.
What officials and the family are saying and the many unanswered questions. Plus, it's one of the biggest mysteries in modern aviation. What happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? Another company is stepping forward, hoping to offer some answers. Stay with us.
Winter coat. You give them the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside, because no child should be freezing cold. Donate to Coats for Kids. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
Taking a look at the markets now, crude oil lost 13 cents. The Canadian dollar ticked down slightly. Gold added $42. The TSX dropped 30 points. The Dow Jones fell 94 points, and the Nasdaq ended the day 55 points lower. A couple from Gatineau, Quebec has been found dead in the Dominican Republic. The bodies of Christine Sauvé and Alain Noel, both in their 50s, were discovered in their vacation home by their son. Now the family is trying to get answers, but it could be weeks before they know anything concrete. Angela McKenzie reports.
It was a devastating discovery early in the morning on December 26th. The bodies of Christine Sauvé and Alain Noel were found in their home by their son.
We're like in a big shock, everybody here.
Christine's brother, Gilles Sauvé Jr., says the Gatineau couple purchased the home in the town of Villa Rivera in the Dominican Republic 4 years ago. They visit regularly and were planning to spend winters here when they retired.
It's really a nice community here. It's a nice place, and all French people, so everything was incredible here.
The cause of their deaths is still unknown. Sauvé says autopsies have been performed, but the results will only be released in 10 to 30 days. Only then can they get their death certificates to repatriate their bodies. Sauvé adds there's been no indication of suicide or anything criminal.
My sister, the day before her death, was had a little issue of sickness, of being lightheaded and all that.
Sauvé says she went to the hospital for tests on the 24th and was supposed to go back after Christmas. Meantime, support has been pouring in for the couple, who was well known in Gatineau. Their elaborate Halloween displays raised thousands for Chio Children's Hospital, says Sauvé. His father was also a former co-owner of the Gatineau Olympiques junior hockey team. The entire organization, including the players as well as the hockey and administrative staff, wishes to extend its most sincere condolences to Mr. Gilles Sauvé, his family, his loved ones, and to all those affected by this difficult ordeal. Global Affairs Canada says it's aware of the couple's death. GAC expresses its condolences to the family and loved ones. Canadian officials are providing consular assistance and are in contact with local authorities to gather more information. Though Sauvé says getting information from Canadian and Dominican officials has been difficult.
It's going slowly, really slowly,
as they process their grief while waiting for answers. Angela McKenzie, CTV News.
A new search is getting underway for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, which vanished without a trace more than a decade ago. There were more than 200 passengers on board, including 2 Canadians. What happened to them is one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time. Now advanced underwater drones are being used to try and get some answers. Here's CTV's John Venevali-Rowe.
Newest search is taking place far out off the coast of Western Australia, with Ocean Infinity, a British-American deep-sea robotics company, using underwater drones that can dive up to 6 kilometers below the surface in the hopes of finally finding Malaysian Airlines 370.
There's reason to be hopeful. They're using the newest technology. They're at a good time of year, and they know where they have searched previously.
The Boeing 777 jet took off in 2014 on a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. On board more than 200 passengers, including this pair of Canadians. The last thing heard from the plane was sent to air traffic control 38 minutes into the flight. Radar showed the jet made a sudden turn to the west, then south over the Indian Ocean, never to be seen again. Though debris washed ashore on a French island and along Africa's east coast. For relatives of the missing, not knowing what happened for the last 11 years has been agonizing. There were theories about pilot suicide, a fire, or hijacking, but nothing's ever been proven. Zhang Hu lives in Beijing. His mother was on the plane. He says finding that jet, his loved one, and the truth are things he must do in his lifetime. Previous searches, including by Ocean Infinity, were all fruitless. But now the company's zeroing in on 15,000 square kilometers of seabed.
They're looking at just 15,000 square kilometers compared to 250,000 square kilometers that they already searched. So they seem to think that they have a good idea that it's here.
Still, it's not clear why the company is searching that area now, with it only getting paid if the wreckage is discovered. As for the plane's black boxes, even after being underwater for more than a decade, experts say if found, the data on them should be retrievable. John Venevali-Rowe, CTV News, Toronto.
Israel is about to bar more than 36 humanitarian aid organizations from the Gaza Strip. At least 10 countries, including Canada, are condemning the move and calling for more aid for Gaza. 37 organizations, including Doctors Without Borders, are set to be blocked from operating in Gaza as of January 1st. Israel says they failed to comply with new vetting rules for staff working in the enclave. Recovery efforts continue in Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa, which hit the island at the end of October. Global Medic in Toronto is packing emergency food kits for the victims.
They're basically taking, rice and kidney beans and chickpeas and green peas and putting them in buckets, sealing them up. It's going to be about 20 pounds of food. We're going to skid that, put it at aircraft height, and this weekend, Air Canada's given us some cargo space down into Montego Bay, and we're going to put several hundred kits down and then be out next week handing food aid out to families in need.
Global Medic says roughly 360,000 people needed food assistance in the immediate aftermath of the storm. The group is also packing emergency hygiene kits for people who've been displaced. At least 45 deaths have been linked to the hurricane in Jamaica. Turning now to the United States, where President Donald Trump has confirmed reports that a U.S. military struck an area in Venezuela earlier this month. The exact details of the attack remain unclear, but it marks the first time the U.S. has carried out land operations in the South American nation.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around. Is that the only strike that the U.S. has done? I don't want to comment on that.
The news comes as the U.S. military has released footage of a strike on a boat which reportedly happened earlier today. The U.S. military says the attack killed 2 men suspected of carrying drugs in the Pacific Ocean. At least 107 people have been killed in 30 American strikes on alleged drug smuggling boats this year. Thousands took to the streets of Tehran today as anger continues to fester over Iran's economic crisis. Iranians continue to deal with rising inflation and high costs, with the Iranian currency at a record low compared to the U.S. dollar. Iran's economic crisis has been made worse in recent years due to crippling U.S. sanctions targeting Iranian exports. Canadian and European leaders held talks today over developments in the Ukraine war as questions swirl over the future of a U.S.-backed peace plan in the region. The talks also included NATO Secretary General, coming on the heels of unproven allegations by Russia that Ukraine launched a massive drone attack at one of the homes of Vladimir Putin. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada is ready to provide security guarantees for a lasting peace deal in Ukraine. At least 6 people were injured in Italy after a cable car crash. It happened in the Piedmont region. Officials say the cabin appears to have arrived in the top station too fast, causing the accident. About 100 people were stranded and needed to be helicoptered off the mountain after the crash. We're learning more about the Bondi Beach mass shooting. Police in Australia say they believe the 2 suspects acted alone.
The initial assessment from the Philippine National Police is that the individuals rarely left their hotel, and there is no evidence to suggest they received training or underwent logistical preparation for their alleged attack.
Police also say that there's no evidence to suggest the alleged shooters were part of a broader terrorist cell or were directed by others to carry out the attack. In Germany, thieves stole millions of dollars worth of property from safety deposit boxes after drilling into a vault. A bank northwest of Frankfurt remained closed today, but about 200 people showed up demanding to be allowed inside. Investigators believe between $11 and $105 million worth of items were taken in the robbery, with about 2,700 customers affected. The theft happened shortly before 4 a.m. yesterday.
The same automakers continue to dominate our top brand rankings.
New year, new vehicle? Consumer Reports is out with its annual list of the most reliable brands. Which ones top the list when we return?
And our long-range forecast for Winnipeg begins Thursday, which is New Year's Day. So we start 2026 with a cloudy day, likely a few flurries coming through the city. High of minus 16 degrees, brightening up Friday, minus 17 degrees. The first weekend of the new year will be mostly cloudy to start Saturday, high of minus 14. Likely to see more flurries return by Sunday, minus 11, minus 12, and on the cloudier side for Monday.
Buying a new car isn't cheap these days, so making the right choice matters a lot. CTV's Pat Foran has more on what's being named as one of the most reliable brands.
Every year, Consumer Reports asks its members about any problems they've experienced with their vehicles over the past 12 months. The survey covers areas from minor issues like trim and infotainment systems to serious and costly ones involving the engine, transmission, or electric motors. Problems no one wants to deal with on a new car.
The problem is that once the warranty expires, an unreliable new car starts becoming a real headache, and it costs you time and money.
This year, they analyzed data from about 380,000 vehicles. The top brands include Toyota, Subaru, and Lexus, with Honda and BMW rounding out the top 5.
The same automakers continue to dominate our top brand rankings. And that's because when they're looking to redesign a model, they're not making huge seismic changes. And many models across the line use shared components.
The latest findings show that EVs and plug-in hybrids remain more trouble-prone than traditional gas models, while conventional hybrids, which don't need to be plugged in, continue to stand out for reliability.
Hybrids are more complex than internal combustion models. However, some manufacturers, in particular Toyota, but also Hyundai and Kia, have worked out the bugs. And in some cases, the reliability of the hybrid models is similar to or even better than the regular versions.
Along with better fuel economy, researchers found hybrid versions often deliver a smoother driving experience than traditional gas models. Pat Foran, CTV News.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch weather forecast. Colleen, are we getting any more of that fluffy stuff anytime soon?
Oh, we sure are. On again, off again tonight across much of the province, next door as well into northwestern Ontario. And there'll be more on the way before we ring in the new year in parts of the province. Out to the east and northwestern Ontario, as I mentioned, a little bit of light snow continuing to fall there. In the north tonight, not just snow in some areas, but also the cold. We talked about this off the top of the newscast, Taylor. We have that cold warning that's in effect for much of the north. Wind chill values in many of these areas will feel as cold as -45, -50. Other areas like Churchill along the Hudson Bay coastline, wind chill values could push -55 at times. This is overnight. Not much moderation during the day tomorrow on Wednesday, and likely a return to these bitterly cold wind chill values as we ring in the new year. So a cold start to the new year there. A cold start to tonight before we even get to the new year. It feels like -42 in Churchill right now. Over in Lynn Lake, it feels like -36. Down here in the south, well, you'll notice it feels like -19 in Winnipeg. Over in Melita, well, it feels like 1 degree because it is 1 degree. Brandon got up to almost 2 degrees this morning. Back up in the north now, not only will it be brutally cold in Churchill, a winter storm watch is in effect there. Outright blizzard conditions are expected with a very potent low pressure system approaching the area. And it's tomorrow really that the first of these very, very strong winds in excess of 90 kilometers an hour will whip up. Outright blizzard conditions expected more by tomorrow night. And then as you ring in the new year, expect blizzard conditions to take you right into Thursday morning. Overnight tonight, we've got that snow coming across southern parts of the province as the north clears out. Then we'll do that more and more so as we get through the overnight hours. This is not a particularly substantial snowfall, and it doesn't last very long. We'll see a bit of light snow in the morning, and then we'll clear out across the province and in northwestern Ontario. But as we do, temperatures are going to be falling in many areas, including here in Winnipeg throughout the day. But once that happens, the temperatures won't fall that much farther as we ring in the new year. But as we do, watch for the next round of snow to move into southwestern Manitoba overnight, and then we will see some of that light snow, or a few flurries anyway, slide into Winnipeg and the Red River Valley. It doesn't last long, and again, it moves on its way, and there's not much to it. For tonight, we drop down to -20 degrees with that intermittent snow. Winds out of the northwest at 20, gusting to 40. Look for a little bit of snow maybe earlier in the morning commute, then it will drop off. -20 is where we will still be sitting. The temperature falls to -24 in the afternoon under a mix of sun and cloud. And once we get past 2 or 3 in the afternoon, the winds will ease up considerably. Light snow tonight through Churchill, Island Lake, and Thompson. Thompson down to -33 degrees, -26 there. Sunny and windy around the region tomorrow. Now again, Churchill, you'll see those blowing snow more so than falling snow. That's why you see the sun there. Light snow tonight across much of the northwest. Sunny and cold around the region tomorrow. In the southwest tonight, a little bit of light snow. -19 overnight for Brandon. Dauphin -22. Brandon falls to -24, so no +2 tomorrow in Brandon. Considerably colder. Considerably isn't even nearly the appropriate word. Winnipeg tonight, we'll see that snow, and not just here in the city, but around the region. A little bit of light snow in the morning, then temperatures dropping in places tomorrow afternoon as we brighten up. Cloudy tonight in northwestern Ontario. Bright and sunny there as well, with highs between -14 and -18. Our first weather photo is from Bahar, taking a look out onto the snowy Red River there. Now, these partridges, Taylor, they're not in a pear tree, but they were on James's lawn here in Winnipeg. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
There's only so many years of life left in them, and so we need to make that investment.
Still ahead, our year-end interview with Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham continues. Hear which projects are at the top of his to-do list for the year ahead when we return. Now to part 2 of our year-end interview with Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham. Yesterday, we heard the mayor's thoughts on the transit system overhaul and the city's role in making life more affordable. Tonight, the mayor responds to questions about staffing levels within the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service and looks ahead to some major infrastructure projects in the new year. Here is part 2 of that interview.
The Firefighters Union has been critical of the amount of firefighters being added. They want 40 full-time firefighters immediately added, saying, you know, the 10 announced won't move the needle enough for staffing and overtime, even arguing you're going to pay more in overtime than you would just on these salaries. So why not add 40 firefighters right away. What's the holdup or the holdback in that?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, we are adding more firefighters. We're adding 10 this year as to a resource pool to give our chief the ability to move people around and if someone calls in sick, to be able to backfill that. But we're also taking more of a systems approach to this. It's not just about adding more firefighters into the existing system, because if we just add more people into the same system without changing what's going on and trying to reduce the reasons that people are calling in sick, then I think we fail. And so we're tackling this challenge. We're going to add 40 firefighters over the next several years, but we're also at the same time we're investing in this budget in a wellness center for firefighters. We have about 100 firefighters who are off right now. And if we can get those people well again for their own sake, we want our employees to be healthy. If we can help them get well and then get some of them back to work, then we have people coming back to work on the front lines and don't have to add as many more people. At the same time, Marilee, we're also working on reducing, we have a plan to reduce the vacant and derelict buildings. So many of the fires that our firefighters are responding to are vacant and derelict buildings and properties. Those properties need to be converted into housing at a time when we need more housing. So if we can get those properties turned into housing again, it reduces the likelihood that they're catching fire. And and gets critical housing, at a time that we really need it. And so, and the final thing I will say on this is I've also called for a fourth emergency service, a mental health service, so that people who are in a mental health crisis, if it's not a safety issue, if it's not a public safety issue or a personal safety issue, we could send trained mental health workers instead of firefighters. Recently, earlier this month, I had a conversation with several firefighters. One of them, who's a senior firefighter, said, "Mayor, I'm tired of responding to mental health calls. I'm trained to be a firefighter. That's what I'm trained to do. I want to do that. I'll go to the mental health calls, but that's not my skill. That's not my training." And he's right. We need to get mental health workers to mental health calls.
Well, all of those are probably very key parts to, long-term solutions here. Those are going to take a while before you see the benefits. What about the issue of right now we're already so short-staffed and you're going to pay all this money in overtime? Why just 10? Why not 40?
Over the last few years, we've added many more firefighters as well. So it's not like we've added none and then suddenly this year we're only adding 10. We've added, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but we've added several firefighters in the last few years. In fact, I know that the fire department's operating budget has gone up 21% in the last 4 years alone. So we're making major investments in our fire paramedic service, and we're going to continue to make investments. But I think we have to be careful and strategic. To just add more people to a system that's not working, I think is a failure. It would be a failure and misguided. We have to work on the system at the same time we're adding more resources, and we are adding resources.
All right, let's talk infrastructure. In a second term, would we see shovels in the ground to widen Kenaston or extend Chief Peguis?
Well, right now in this budget, the 2026 budget, we have added $13 million on the Kenaston project to do the designs on that, which would include not just widening, but the Kenaston project is really important because there's several projects in that overall project. The bridges over the Assiniboine River have got to be replaced. There's only so many years of life left in them, and so we need to make that investment. That road, in fact, or those bridges take more traffic per day than any other section of street in Winnipeg. So we've got to replace the bridges. We have to replace the sewer underground. There's right now a single pipe. Under provincial legislation, we have to separate those pipes to keep raw diluted sewage out of the river. So that work has to be done. And as you know, there's a lot of development in the area with Naui Odina. And so that area, proposes to add 3,000 units of housing. That comes with land drainage issues as well, and therefore also, the need to widen the road. So $13 million is in this budget. We're making progress, and when you're planning and doing design work, that in fact is part of the project. So we've moved on that.
So ideally, if you have another 4-year mandate, would you like to see it begin?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're saying goodbye to 2025, looking ahead to 2026. What do you see as the most pressing issue facing the city?
A couple of, it won't be a surprise to people. One is the North End Water Pollution Control Center. The provincial and federal government have helped us, and they've helped fund the first and second phases. There are 3 phases. So really the goal is to get funding secured from the federal and provincial governments in the 3rd phase. It's critical because we have capacity issues there. We're going to run out of capacity in 2032. So we don't have a lot of time left. We've got to get that project, the funding secured and the project completed. So that's continues to be a pressing issue. More work on homelessness and encampments, more work on public safety is critical as well, and more work on the 4th emergency service to get, relieve our firefighters, paramedics, and police officers for some of these calls. Last year, the police responded to 21,000 check well-being calls. Many of those calls didn't need a police officer to respond to. So we want to free up our police to do police work and make our city safer. We can do that by turning some of these calls over to other agencies like mental health agencies. And then finally, 2026. We
have to get used to saying that.
I know. I almost said 25 again. I want to thank motorists for their patience in 2025 with all the road construction.
It's still going on.
It's still going on, and buckle up, folks, because 2026 is going to be another major road construction year. But the public has told us that's what they want, and we know that's what's needed. We need good infrastructure. We're making the investment in the infrastructure.
All right, let's end on a fun note. We know one of the funnest things happening around the city right now is this snowplow naming contest. What are some of your favorites? People can vote on them still right now. Do you have any favorites? Not that we want you to sway the results.
No, I'm not swaying it. I didn't even. I scrolled across all the names. I didn't even click I didn't even vote, and they didn't come to. Everyone loves Fred Penner.
Yes.
So Sled Penner, I think, is really catchy for all of us, the children of every age. Adam Plowry, I like that one as well. Slosh Morrissey. There's some good ones with Melt Stiegel. I mean, some of our favorite athletes, it's a play on their names. I think those are fun. So Winnipeggers are creative people, and everybody has till December 31st to vote.
And we'll find out in the new year.
We will find out in the new year.
10 are being named?
12 of the big plows, so 12 of the big plows. And then we also have asked students to provide us one name for the team of sidewalk snow clearing plows. And so the winning class, I'm going to host a pizza party at my office for the winning class that successfully names the snow plows that plow our sidewalks.
Well, sounds like a lot of fun. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you and your family. Thank you for coming in. It was great seeing you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you and your family, and to all the viewers as well.
Thank you.
And just a note, 2 days after this interview was recorded, city councilors voted to speed up the hiring of 40 new full-time firefighters, adding 20 this year and 20 in the year after. That was part 2 of our year-end interview with Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham. It's also the conclusion of our year-end interview series. If you'd like to rewatch this interview or last week's conversation with Premier Wab Kinew, you can head to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. The nationwide recall of pistachios and pistachio-containing products has now been expanded to include a total of 314 products. They are linked to an ongoing salmonella outbreak that, as of today, has sent 24 people to hospital and sickened a total of 155. That includes 3 here in Manitoba. The most recent recalled products were sold and distributed in Quebec, Ontario, Alberta, Nova Scotia, and BC, according to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. A new state law in New York will require some social media platforms to display warning labels about their potential harm to the mental health of young users. Inked by New York's governor, it will specifically target those with infinite scrolling, autoplay, and algorithmic feeds. It comes after Australia imposed a social media ban for children under 16. New York is joining states like California and Minnesota that have similar social media laws. Every new year, people resolve to eat more healthy foods. Mandy Gaither has the top food trends of 2026.
Move over, cottage cheese. There are some new it foods in town.
There are things that trend and ebb and flow.
Registered dietitian Julia Sumpano with Cleveland Clinic says the first new food trend she expects to see in 2026, more mushrooms.
Mushrooms such as reishi and lion's mane can help with stress. They're considered adaptogens, and you'll find them in things like coffee and drinks and added into protein shakes.
Zumpano says mushrooms are very healthy and a good source of B vitamins, selenium, fiber, and potassium. She says they can also support a healthy immune system, brain, heart, and gut. Speaking of gut health, Zumpano expects it to continue to be a big trend next year, too.
Gut-friendly foods such as resistant starches and probiotics and prebiotics, I think will still be a very strong foundation of health trends in 2026.
GLP-1 weight loss medications are driving the next trend. Zumpano says to expect smaller portion sizes in the new year as those on the medicine have a decreased appetite, and expect protein to still be a big trend, but she expects people to move more toward balanced meals with an emphasis on protein, but also adding in fiber. And finally, a focus on omega-3s.
They're support brain health. They help reduce inflammation. They're found in fatty fish and certain nuts and seeds.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
So to keep Winnipeg in the conversation is a great feat, and we're really proud of it.
A Winnipeg venue is taking center stage on the world stage. Up next, where the Burton Cummings Theatre ranks among global venues and the banner year organizers hope to carry forward.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the incredibly hip and the Stoneheads.
It has been a banner year for a downtown venue. The Burton Cummings Theatre sported record numbers in sold-out shows and performances, and it even received international recognition.
It's a great honor to be included in the top 200 theaters. It's up amongst the ranks with great venues like Royal Albert Hall in London, as well as the Radio City Music Hall in New York. So to keep Winnipeg in the conversation is a great feat, and we're really proud of it.
The Burt ranked in the 92nd spot in the world for ticket sales among theaters this year. That's according to Polestar, a global trade publication for the live entertainment industry. Just over 90,000 tickets were sold from January through October at the venue. The theater also placed 5th in Canada and 75th in North America based on ticket sales.
Being included in that top 200 list keeps the conversation alive with agents and managers, as well as different artists, making sure that they see a place like Winnipeg and go, oh, why haven't we played there? Why don't we go there? So to make sure that we can bring that stature of our city up, as well as the stature of the theater, only means that hopefully we can get more and bigger concerts.
The Burt also welcomed 115 performances this year and 27 sellout shows, according to True North Sports and Entertainment. The company took ownership of the 1,500-seat theater in 2016. Meanwhile, Forbes magazine says singer Beyonce is now a billionaire, becoming only the 5th musician to achieve the milestone.
My check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dick.
The 44-year-old joins an exclusive club that includes her husband, rapper Jay-Z, as well as Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, and Rihanna. Forbes says most of Beyonce's wealth comes from her music catalog and global tours. Well, from now on, you could call them Monsieur et Madame Clooney. France's government says George Clooney and his wife Amal and their twins have been awarded French citizenship. The announcement confirmed an ambition Clooney alluded to earlier this year, where he praised French privacy laws that shield his family and particularly his children from paparazzi. The couple purchased an estate in France in 2021, which Clooney described as their primary residence. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with the Marvel action flick Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Then at 10, it is The Big Bang Theory, followed by E-Talk at 10:30. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Hand over your money or prepare for an egging. What's going on at this centuries-old festival in Spain when we return?
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
I mentioned earlier, Brandon got up to nearly 2 degrees today. Here in Winnipeg, not quite, but -8 is still well above normal. The record for this day, 4.4, set back in 1904. Tonight, we drop down to -20 with a little bit of on-again, off-again snow, taking us into early Wednesday morning. Clearing in the afternoon as the temperature drops to -24, but then it pretty much will stay put for New Year's Eve if you're heading out to ring in the new year. -16 on Thursday, New Year's Day. Likely to see some flurries. Sunshine by Friday, similar temperatures. First weekend starts off a little cloudy and then a bit of a warm-up on Sunday.
Here's one way to make use of all those holiday leftovers. Yeah, you're seeing that. Every December 28th, people living in the town of Ibi in the Valencia region of Spain have a flower fight. A group of men dress it up and stage a fake military coup armed with eggs, flour, and firecrackers, imposing silly rules on residents, asking for taxes and a levy for breaking the rules. That money goes to charity, and the festival dates back actually more than 200 years. It's a lot of flour.
It's a little messy, but it does look like a lot of fun.
I don't want to do the laundry.
Me neither. Good point, Taylor. Good point.
Well, you can join us back here at CTV News at 11:30. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.